Welcome to Theznutzgarage. And today we are going to look at a car. I think she said it was a 2007 Ford Mustang, but it's kind of not wanting to run right. So from what I understand, this lady is kind of a little bit under weather. So she's dealing with some of that kind of stuff. So we're just going to go look at it and do it pro bono. Let's just go over and look at it. Maybe it's something simple. I don't know. Maybe it's something that we can take care of for her. So that way she don't have to worry about one of them $125 an hour jobs. If she can get it for that pro bono free charge. So let's jump in the truck and we're going to ride over here and look at this car and let's pray that we can fix it. All right, so I got over here and diagnosed this car. Basically, when I got here, turned the key, fired right up, let it run for a few minutes, shut it off, turn the key, dead stick, nothing. So you could hear the fuel pump engaging back there, so I knew it wasn't the fuel pump because I could hear it whining. So I checked the fuse box right here. It has a starter relay and then it has a couple of starter fuses. And what I did, all the relays are basically the same. I just kind of moved them around. Tried it again, same thing, dead stick. So I was like, well, it ain't the relay, it ain't the fuses. So checked all the grounds underneath the hood, make sure there wasn't any loose grounds or the terminal was loose, because that can happen. You can start a truck up, that terminal be loose, or your car started up, that ground not make contact, and it's just dead. But usually what'll happen with that is you won't have any gauge lights or anything. But sometimes you can even have those, just that loose connection. So what we did is, I didn't bring a jack. Well, I brought ramps, but when the car's not running, you can't get it up. So what I did is I took the jack out of my truck. I jacked the car up where the side that the starter's on, and then I basically got underneath the car, told her to hold the key down, make sure the emergency brake was on and it was in park. Tapped that solenoid, fired right up. So we know the solenoid on this starter is bad. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it off, we'll run to town, swap it out, and put a new one on it. So then it should be good to go. So we'll get up underneath the car. The starter on this car is on the driver's side. And what we're gonna do first is we'll disconnect the, we can just disconnect the ground on the car and set it to the side, and that'll make it to where we don't have any sparkies while we're underneath there removing this starter. So let's disconnect the ground and then we'll get underneath the car and we'll try to get this starter out from underneath it. Now, once again, we are in a tight spot. We get up here and here's this starter. Let's back out, see if we can get the camera to focus. Maybe not, because I got other car parts in the way like this and this. So basically right there, you can see we have our starter. On the left side right there, you'll see we have what? 2 wires. And then we have a bolt at the top right. And then down here we have another bolt right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disconnect these power wires up here first. And then we'll disconnect these bolts and get this starter out of there. I'm not gonna show you how to do this physically because I just can't hold the camera and do this all by my, one-handed. So I'll get this out and then I'll come back and we'll lay this starter out on the back of the truck and then we'll go and get a new one. All right, so I got this starter out. Now here, these 2 bolts that go into the block on either side, those are 10mm bolts. And then back here we had a 13mm nut and a 10mm nut. That's all it is. 2 bolts, 2 nuts. Like I said, I did tap the side of it and it did engage, so pretty sure it's probably the solenoid. I'll have them test it when I go in up there just to double check, but no matter what, I'm getting another one because that's not normal behavior for a starter to have to hit it with a crescent wrench to get it to start. So let's run to the old AutoZone. AutoZone. All right, so I'm back from the AutoZone, so you can tell by the hat. They asked me what I was doing today, and I told them, I said I'm installing a starter onto a Ford Mustang. And I kind of told them about the story here. Lady needed a little help, and they said, well, we'll give you a little bit of discount, not much. Don't freak out, AutoZone Incorporated. As many parts as I buy from y'all, you can handle it. And then they hooked me up with this hat. So I am kind of, you know, giving AutoZone some creds there in Humboldt, Tennessee. So check those guys out. If you need some parts, go in there and buy a whole bunch of them like I do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install this on the car, and this has a lead here. It says I gotta use this lead and heat shrink it and all that, but I don't have anything to do that here. I don't think I have a crimp that will work on. So I have a pair of pliers, but I don't have any crimps on me, and I don't want to mess with that and then it not be a good connection and cause her more problems down the road. So I'm just going to use the factory wiring that's over there, and then when I get this installed, I'll come back, I'll show you underneath the car, because it's really hard to film underneath the car while I'm doing this because it's right on the ground. So once I get it installed, I'll show you how it looks installed, and then we'll give it a fire up. See, so let's get this in and I'll be right back. All right, there it is, installed. Yeah, in order to put that little lead on that they were talking about, you would have to cut that factory harness, and being where I'm at on the ground, I just can't reach up in there and fool with that. So I just took that little lead off and used the factory wiring there. So it's in there. Sorry for my finger in the way. So let's get out here and hook the battery back up, and let's see if it'll fire up. All right, so I'm gonna jump in here in the car and see if it'll start up. We got our battery hooked back up, starter's hooked up, so let's see if it'll fire up. All right, so that's fired right up. I think it's set for a minute. Probably losing a little of that fuel pressure, but it's come alive. So we got this fixed for her, and at no charge at all whatsoever. Thanks to AutoZone again for helping out on this project. And I really am thankful to God that He gives me this opportunity to serve somebody else. Because there's people right in our neighborhood that need help, and sometimes we don't see it, or we don't care to do it. So always get out there and serve somebody in your community, so that way you can serve God by serving Him. That's going to be the end of the video. Thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, and share. And God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.